Alright, let's go over the Earthkeeper, the promotion class of the Druid. Let's start with the promotion class itself. We can see what that exactly does. First up, you can see we get Essence Scram, which is a new ultimate. It will drain our essence to heal the team. Maybe interesting to start with this. The Druid itself does not have mana, but it sort of overloads when you cast too much. When you reach 80% or more essence, you start damaging yourself. So you don't have to worry about mana issues, you just have to worry about not overloading and damaging yourself. But we'll get back to that a little bit later. You get some support power and some critical heal chance. We can wear a staff, which is very important. And we can wear mail. Well, we're just naked for testing here. That doesn't really matter. Okay, let's see what happens to the skills here. Blight is a normally AoE damage, but now it will heal friendly areas in an area and the chance to spawn orbs. Barkskin is our barrier that now heals when I cast it, and it heals again if the barrier is broken. The Grasping Roots is a root AoE that will also spawn healing orbs now for each enemy that we hit. So the spec I've taken here, as you can see, we don't have a certain domain in here because just don't really have the points, and the majors are good enough, I think. Alright, let's start with the special skills here. We have Shared Gifts passives. So it heals me for 25% of the healing done by a healing orb when an ally picks it up. And the orb also heals 5 additional friendly targets around the area. So healing orbs are pretty good. And we have Healing Rain, which is just an AoE heal that generates lots of essence. And then the passive cluster here for just more bonus stats. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. We have Blight and Ritual Sacrifice. Ritual Sacrifice we don't really need, but the Blight, as we saw earlier, just heals now as well. Passive node here, passive node here. Up here we have the Call Storm Power. It's a stun. It's always good to have a stun in the kit, right? You can always, if there's somebody attacking you, just quickly stun them and get out. That's good. More passives in there. We go down here, we have the Will-O-Wisp, which is a pretty big heal. Just a single heal, but it's a big one. Not a passive cluster here. We have taken Barkskin in the middle here. That's the shield generating skill. Then we have here the Ironwood Body passive. So when we drop below 35%, when we reach execute range, that's important to note, we have 10 seconds of damage reduction on us. So that makes it very hard for us to die when we drop below. Well, we can still die obviously, but the damage reduction makes it so we get some time to heal up again and get out of execute range. It's a very, very, very strong one. And here we have the Commune with Nature. There's a whole lot of text on here. What it does, it increases my healing by 5%. And when my essence fills up more than 500, so that's 50%, it will drop the essence and apply a restoration of resources to allies around me. Then here's the Grasping Roots, the AoE root that will also cause some healing. Alright, that's as far as the spec goes. The majors I have in here is Pixie Dust. It just buffs people with a personal healing modifier, 25% increased healing what they take. Slow Stake, just a bit of a slowing of an area around. The Nature's Guardian, a protection stake, 15% damage reduction to allies. And Soothing Winds is just a chain heal. We have Resurrection in here, you know, if somebody dies, we can revive them. It's always nice. And Supreme Element, just another passive here. We take fire damage, we get healed a little bit. Electricity reflects, and ice damage gives a small healing modifier, stacking up to 3 stacks. I just had to put some passives in here because the bar is full. Well, Resurrection is not passive, but this one is it's minor because we don't have a domain. This is kind of what we had to go with. I think it's alright. I think it's alright. We still have a nice group buff here in the protection stake, so still pretty useful. Stats is just maxed int, and the rest I dumped into Constitution. You already get quite a bit of spirit from your passives, and our hit points were very low, so I decided to just put some Constitution in here for some extra health. Right, the most important thing to note about this build is that you get to wear a staff, which is very important. It's not mentioned anywhere in the tooltip, but we no longer have an auto tag. Well, we kind of have, but we're not attacking. As you can see, our left click now spawns healing orbs when you equip a staff. So that is quite an important thing to note. And that paired with our passive, that when we pick up an orb, when an ally picks up an orb, it splashes around, right? So this is just a great way to spend your time if you're not having to really heal. You can just throw some orbs around and get some healing done. As you can see, our essence bar slowly fills when we're casting and slowly drains when we are not casting. Let's push that one over to 80%. Now you see we have an essence burn. It just got eaten by my passive. Let's stack it up again, because I do want to show this mechanic and why we have the things that we have. Just cast some random spells. We'll go over them in a little bit. Just want to stack up this this essence again. Okay, there we go. So now we get ourselves an essence burn, which is a bad thing. Wait, where did it go? I dropped below the essence again, so it went away. Essence burn. It deals 435 damage per second. As you can see, that goes quite rapidly, right? The only way to get rid of this is either switching to the death tray, where abilities cost essence to use them. That is one option, but it is a little bit awkward to be swapping between trays. So with the build I have, we will not be swapping between trays. What happens when we stack up our essence too much? One thing we can do about that to get rid of it is to just ult. Let me just throw some more things around. Pretty lights. Get this essence refilled again. There we go. So we're essence burning again. And in order to dump it, we can just ult. You can see the essence bar drains down. It heals people. And it's gone again. And we're good to go. The other debuff that you see here is the Nature's Languor. That is the passive that just proc'd. We talked about this on earlier. That is this thing, the Commune with Nature. So if we reach 50% essence, it will automatically drop to 0, and then it starts stacking up again. The reason I have this is because without it, I would have to swap into the death tray to dump my essence when I overload. Because the cooldown of the ultimate is a bit too long. If you're like non-stop casting, the first time you can drop it with the ult, the second time you have to wait for a while, and then you're just taking 400 damage per second for like no reason, unless you swap into the death tray. But I don't really want to do that. So that is how this build is kind of working. All right, let's go over the skills then a little bit. We have our Blight here, which is a pretty large AoE, and it both damages enemies and heals friendlies. And on the heal, there's also a random chance of spawning these orbs. We have the Grasping Roots. There we go, which roots targets and spawns little orbs when you hit an enemy with that. Then we have our Bark Skin, which is the shield that gets applied to the whole group. From my majors, I have Pixie Dust, which you just throw on, and you can see the buff running. It lasts for 30 seconds, where you get increased healing. It's like super good. Cooldown is a little longer than the duration, but still very strong. This is our big heal, the Will-O-the-Wisp. You just kind of throw that in front of you, and it heals things. We didn't quite see the numbers there, but it's a substantial heal. We have our little chain heal here that keeps chaining for a couple seconds. Just put that on the front liner, and it will just keep doing its job for a while. Pretty awesome. Let's do the Will-O-Wisp again. There we go. It heals for like 800, which is like huge because I have no gear, right? Pretty big heal. And then the Healing Rain, AoE, bomb, big heal as well. Bomb. It ticks twice for a substantial amount. And then we have some stakes in here. We have a protection stake. It gives us 15% damage reduction. And the slowing stake, yeah, it's kind of extra in here because it comes with the Pixie Dust here, but you know, a little slow around an area can always be useful. My capstock is my revive, but you know, that's not really doing a lot now because nobody died. So that is about the abilities of the healing druid. And the beautiful thing is, if you're like not pressed to heal, you can always just left click around, make some orbs, and you probably have to pick some of them up yourself to heal the team, because you know DPS is always tunnel visioned on DPSing. But yeah, if you can always just cast them like in the distance on top of your melee guys, and it has quite a bit of range on here. Let's see, 35 meters, right? So that goes about that far. So when we're playing, when we're fighting, we're just buffing a team with some pixie dust, putting some orbs down here and there. Make sure we ult when we get essence burned like this. Drop that essence, big heals in there, and we just continue spamming abilities. Well, maybe not spamming, but you know, we got 2 big heals in the Will-o'-the-Wisp and the Rain. Those are very big, and then some small heals with just chucking down some orbs. This chain heal here. Situationally, when we're close to enemies, we can blight them, which is also a bit of an AoE heal. The grasping roots, chuck that in there, annoy enemies, make some more healing orbs, and get bark skin up whenever you can. It's a heal and a shield. It's just a good combination. I like this healer. I think it is very potent, kind of easy to play compared to the Ice Collar. It is a lot easier to play, but I think it is still a very, very powerful healer. I think you have a lot of healing output with this, and your passive with your damage reduction when you drop below 35% makes you reasonably good at surviving too. So far for the druid of the healing variety, which is called the Earthkeeper.